In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the podcast. Episode 1 of a continuing, who knows how long series this is going to go for. But I've been wanting to do this for such a long time. But never got around to it until today. So strap yourselves in, guys, as we just talk about pretty much everything that's going on in life, in your life, in my life, in everyone's life. What's on the tip of everyone's tongue? That's what we're here to talk about, and I'm here to just give you my honest, godforsaken opinion on things. The way I say it is the way I say it, and if you like it, or you hate it, or you love it, that's totally cool. Okay, we cool, bro. We cool. So, yeah, as you noticed, it is very cold here in North America as we are slowly descending upon darkness and the cold weather and winter and all Christmas and all that. So I thought I'd just throw up some ambient Thailand beaches for you here to look at and enjoy the waves crashing as you drive to and from work in cold traffic, miserable traffic. And every winter, I'm always tempted to leave North America for greater beaches and sand. Most notably Thailand, but we'll get into that a little bit later on in the podcast. So first of all, I want to talk about my head. We're going to talk about shaving your head. Okay, so first of all, maybe you didn't notice this. Oh my God! What happened to your hair, Justin? Yes, look. Take a good gander. About 2 months ago, I shaved my head. Now, the reason why I shaved my head was for many reasons. So first of all, before I shaved my head, I grew my hair to the longest length as possible. So my hair was pretty much down to my shoulders. And obviously this was happening during summertime. So as I was, working out and just enjoying my summer, I had this long hair to contend with. And this hair was, first time I had grown my hair the longest possible. And I just did it for a challenge. I saw what was happening around town. I see Keanu Reeves growing his hair long. I see Jason Momoa growing his hair long. I see a lot of guys going for that beach surfer look for the summertime, going around town. So I thought, okay, I'll grow my hair out just for a challenge, just for fun, because I've never done it this long before. And I did it. And I'm proud to say, I accomplished what I wanted to do. And you can see like early photos or footage of me in YouTube videos with long hair. You could decide if it looks good on me or not. But to me, I didn't like it because it was just too difficult to manage. I exercise a lot, and the back of my neck was constantly wrapped with hair. It was covered with hair. So it kind of acted like a scarf all the time. When I was sleeping, when I was exercising, running, whatever. It felt very uncomfortable, because you need ventilation when you exercise, especially. You need a way for that heat, that air to escape your body. So from a practical standpoint, if you're an active person like myself, having long hair is such a burden. It looks good. I don't know, some chicks may dig it, but to me, it didn't suit me. It's just too hard to manage. Plus, you gotta take really long showers to, wash it, and you gotta dry it. It takes long. It's like having a dog. It's like you're managing and your hair becomes like a dog, a little dog that you have to take care of. You gotta groom it, take care of it, clean it, make sure it's tidy. All that, it's always with you. So the complete opposite of having long hair was just shaving my head. And I did it because, I was tired of long hair and I wanted just to be free of all of that weight. So if you've never shaved your head before in your life, do it. Do it. Do it. As Emperor Palpatine would say, do it. We'll get into Star Wars, by the way. Don't worry. We will later on in this episode. But if you're a guy or a girl, even if you are a girl, hey, there's no exception. You should shave your hair at least once in your lifetime. Why? First of all, if there ever was a reset button in life, it would be shaving your head. I mean, sure, you can say, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to start working out, or tomorrow I can do this, or tomorrow I will change my life doing that. Yeah. That's nice. That's all talk. But when you shave your head, it's permanent. You live with it for the next several months and years to come as you wait for it to grow. And it's a reminder. There's a reason why monks shave their heads. There's a reason why some nuns will shave their heads. You don't know what's underneath that cowl. There's a reason why people who are dedicated or who are trying to focus on something in their lives shave their heads, because hair is a distraction. I mean, what's the point of keeping hair? To keep our heads warm. What if we didn't need to have hair in the first place and use something else to keep our heads warm, like a toque or a hat or whatever we can wrap our heads with, cloth. So when you think of it that way, what's the reason why we have hair? It's just for vanity, just to look good, to be attractive, Yes, I like having I love a medium length hair, kind of like Beatles, shaggy look. Looks good on most Asians, especially me. It suits my personality, actually. I'm a pretty cute personality, so I need a cute haircut. So don't get me wrong, I'm not going to keep shaving my head. I just shave my head once and then grow it out, and then just leave it be, let it grow. But if you are a woman, there's no excuse. You can shave your head too. There's so many stars that shave their heads. Like, not just Britney Spears. I'm talking about, like, for example, Natalie Portman. She looks good. There's Charlize Theron. They shave their heads for movie roles, whatever. But you need a reset button, okay? Whether you're a guy or a girl. Restart your life. You want a fresh start, clean slate. Get over a bad breakup. Get over this depression or a hump in life. Just this road bumps, If you want to start over, the ultimate reset button is just shaving your head. Just letting it all go. Okay? Just clean your scalp. Let your scalp breathe. And you'll just, if you haven't shaved your head, it's a wonderful sensation after you shave your head. It's all that weight is gone. All that hair, that distraction is gone. You can totally focus on anything because the hair won't get in your way and won't get in your face. You don't have to wash it. Your showers are so quick in the mornings. It's amazing. You don't need any hair products. You don't have to spend money on haircuts. Just think about how much time you can save when you have no hair. Okay? And the way I shaved my head is I bought some clippers and shaved it. Just took like 10 minutes in the bathroom. You can do it. Anybody can do it. Okay? You don't need to be a genius. All you need to do is just keep going. Keep adding it. Grilling. And then when I say shave your head, I don't say you don't have to be a skinhead. People think like shaving your head means like, oh, I'm going to go down to the skin. No, you don't have to go to that extreme. You can just get like a really close shave, like a buzz cut. All right. So what I mean by like buzz is that here, I'll take a look. Here are some just photos, random photos of Asian guys and girls shaving their heads, whether they like to or not. Some, becoming monks in a monastery or going to the Korean army. That's mandatory for most Korean guys. This girl here, she's a Japanese pop star, shaved her head. But here's the thing. in Asia, in particular, shaving your head is very disgraceful from their point of view. Because guys, they shave their heads only when they have to enter the army, and that's just really sad point in their life. They lose their girlfriends, they give up on what they had in life, then they commit for 2 years of serving in the army. They give up their looks, and then once they get out of the army, what they all do, they all grow their hair out as long as they can. So whoever shaves their head voluntarily in Asia is kind of strange, and not compared to like the West. So this girl here, this Japanese pop star, she shaved her head for being some controversy, disgraceful, as apologizing, asking for forgiveness. But yeah, like, oh, look, Demi Moore. See? Perfect example. See, she looks cute, even with shaved head. Even if you are a girl, who cares? Who cares what people think? You know what I would think? If someone said, like, if I was a girl and someone said, why did you shave your head? I would just say to them, I have cancer. I'm going through leukemia treatments. That would shut them up. Okay? That's the best excuse. Just say, none of your goddamn business. It's just what I wanted. It takes a lot of guts to shave your head, whether you're a guy or a girl, voluntarily. Okay? This kid. He probably did something bad, and young monks. He's a monk, that's why. Yeah. Losing your hair. But it's not that bad. And it's so rejuvenating once you lose all that hair. You start rubbing your head a lot constantly. It's like you start getting to know your head more. You start to you build a relationship better with your scalp. You start touching your head, you start rubbing your head voluntarily because it feels so good. When you rub your head, it's like, wow, it feels good. It's like, when was the last time you touched your head and rubbed it when you had hair? Probably never, because you had the wax or the gel, the hair product, hairspray. You didn't want to ruin the shape. I believe me, I've been there. But when I shave my head, I start building that relationship with my head again, with my hand. I start touching it a lot. Girls touch it. It's an attention grabber. But me, I like shaving my head. It's just like burning the crops, letting the crops breathe. Let the soil breathe in order for new hair to sprout. Because we do so much bad stuff to our hair. We put these products in it. We color it with these chemicals, or we expose it to the elements. Like, for example, me, I swim in chlorinated pools all the time, so that really just damages my hair. All sorts of stuff we put our hairs through. And it's time to give our hair a break. Just clean it all off, fresh slate, and just let it grow naturally. That's what I'd say. So, if you haven't shaved your head at least once in your life, you're missing out. Okay, and there's so many good examples. I mean, who knows what you look like, and who cares what people think if they say, "Oh, you look so ugly with shaved head." Who cares? You just wear a toque, wear a baseball cap like me. Okay, it's so easy to cover it up when you're out and about. If you're really self-conscious. Okay. But yeah. Whenever I see a guy that voluntarily shaves their head, or girl, I'd say that person has balls. Respect. Okay? Very few people have the balls to do an action like this. So shave your head, save some money, hit that reset button. It's the best tip I can give you for today. Okay, let's move on. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I doing this podcast? It's a good question. I don't know either. But there are influences. But, like, for example, H3 podcast. It's pretty funny. I watch it a few times. I watch the highlight reels. Joe Rogan podcast, iffy. I watch Joe Rogan based on the guest that is on the show. So, for example, Elon Musk, I watched that one. Who else? Yeah, Elon Musk. That was pretty much the highlight. I rarely watch Joe Rogan podcast, to be honest, because to be honest, I don't think Joe Rogan is very interesting. He's he's not a very intellectual person. He's not very interesting. And the thing about Joe Rogan is he's not funny to me. And he is a comedian. And whenever he tries to be funny or laughs at his guests, I never laugh. And I think that's really strange for me. You know, when someone says they are a comedian, and when I watch them perform or try to be in their comedic state, it just I don't laugh at all. But Joe Rogan has a way with people. I mean, pretty much he was like the standard, I would say, for like just connecting with people you just meet for the first time. I mean, it's so simple for me, but this day and age, most people just are so socially awkward. They just don't know how to have a conversation with another person that they just met for, say, an hour or two and just keep talking like he does. Just imagine if you had Joe Rogan's job. You were a host for a podcast and you had to talk to somebody for an hour or two. Can you do it without looking at your phone, without depending on external resources, without having a co-host, without having a script or a teleprompter in front of you to read from? This day and age, it's so hard for people to do that, to have a conversation. Me, it's pretty easy just to talk to anybody. There's so much to talk about in life, for me, from my point of view. But we'll get into that later on. That is a whole nother podcast dealing with smartphones and just social, the way society is, social skills and social media bullshit. So, to be honest, I don't really listen to podcasts a lot. I find most of them very boring. The hosts are very safe. They don't ask very fun questions or people that make me laugh. If Dave Chappelle had a podcast and he was a host, I would definitely listen to that. But no, I've tried listening to podcasts in the past, and they're so boring. Oh my God. Especially business podcasts. Like, oh, fucking boring. By the way, I will be swearing in this podcast. Oh, thank God. Thank fucking God. Because I like swearing because I'm a guy. And guys swear. Or real guys swear. If you didn't know that. Never trust a guy that doesn't swear. Have you ever met a guy in real life that never swore or sweared? You know, even if like he stubbed his toe or like he hurt himself by accident in front of you. Yeah, I've met a few of them and they're pretty weird. Weird people. You know, I wait for them to swear or I make sure that they try to swear. Like, hey, what the fuck's wrong with you? Hey, man, motherfucker, how you doing? And I wait for them to reciprocate. You know, hey, motherfucker, how you doing? Pretty good, Justin, you motherfucker, how you doing? You know? Mind you, when I was a kid growing up, this is the way we talked. We just playfully dig at each other. It's playful. It's fun. We're not supposed to be, in this day and age, you know, most kids, oh, you can't say that. You can't say that, Justin. You offend somebody. The point of saying this stuff is so that we can disarm all of that pride or that exterior shell that most of us carry around with us. You know, like, I'm a CEO, I'm an important person, I have this much money in the bank. Does not matter. None of that stuff matters. At the end of the day, it's just two humans standing in front of each other, just talking, shooting the real shit. Okay, it doesn't matter. And the way we connect is by digging at each other. You know, just making fun of each other. It's so surprising, this day and age, how easily offended, how sensitive people are. I just find it so odd. Like, it makes me wonder, or makes me question why I speak English at all. You know, because if I was speaking Korean or Russian or another language, it wouldn't matter. None of this stuff. People being sensitive. Well, that's the way it is. But let's just drop the pretentious bullshit, okay? Let's just get down to the real talk, okay? Real men swear. That's an absolute fucking fact, okay? So get over it, okay? If you like Dave Chappelle stand-up material, which I love, then you'll like what I say, okay? It's very similar. Dave Chappelle, to be honest, is the only guy that makes me laugh, stand-up wise. I tried watching Bill Burr, his latest special. Something about that fucking guy doesn't make me laugh. Anything he says does not make me laugh. He's just he reminds me of just like a worn out, blue-pilled father and husband. You know, just that dad that's been just burnt out and just beaten down in life. That's what he reminds me of. Sometimes, yeah, he has his good way of saying things, good opinions on women and all that. He'll go into that. But overall, he doesn't make me laugh. No. Does not make me laugh. No. The only comedian that makes me laugh, two comedians that make me laugh, are Dave Chappelle, and I'll get to the second one a little bit later on the podcast. Okay, so yeah, I was just trying to watch the HT podcast.
Thank you.
And then, yeah.
Good for you. Like, looking at her now, you look like a model. Like,
this woman. This fucking woman. This beach whale. Now, the good thing about HT podcast, other than other podcasts, is that Ethan specifically says whatever he wants to say. There's no filter in him, right? He swears, says whatever he wants. That's what I like about the HT podcast. You know, I don't like the way he looks. He's a fat fucker. Definitely needs to lose weight. But him, combined with his wife, Hila, it's a perfect combination. Yin and yang, right? It's like you've got the extroverted person, the alpha person. It's just Ethan. And the introverted, just quiet person that compliments, which is Hila. They both work so well together on the podcast, you know? And it makes me wonder, like, if later on, if I were to find a co-host, I would definitely look for someone who has a personality like Hila.
Person, like, I thought you were pretty on camera, but in person you're like tall and thin and like gorgeous. And then Ethan's like, baby, like here's the thing, like,
so what kind of man would be appropriate for Hila?
Oh my goodness. I think like a Dennis Quaid type, or even like a Zac Efron. Like, I think like that. If you like Jewish men, like Howard.
See, the brilliant thing about this episode is this girl, this Trish Paytas girl, she's a disgusting woman. They brought her on because they do have beef with each other online, and that beef raises tension, and that tension just stirs controversy, and that controversy brings people's eyes onto this podcast. It's brilliant. You know, a lot of podcasts that I listen to, you listen to, they bring guests on that they're kind of like the same person, same wavelength, A and A, you know, like water and water, hot and hot, you know, like you need the complete opposite sometimes, you know, in order to have the perfect dynamics, you know, just like Ethan and Hila, you need like HC podcast and someone outrageous like Trisha here. And that's why they wanted to bring her on the show, I bet. You know? Who wants to listen to just a boring person who agrees with you all the time? You want somebody who's completely opposite of you. And then you can start having arguments, and then arguments can turn into drama, and drama gets attention. Drama gets views.
Stern, I think that would be more.
You think Howard Stern is appropriate for Hila?
Because he has the personality. So you don't go for looks, obviously, but like you must like personality, and Howard Stern has the personality.
He has more personality than me.
You think Ethan?
He has a better personality. You have a personality.
Yeah, but it's not as good.
It's not that.
Because so when you say I'm a troll, what do you mean? Because what I define troll as is someone. And I don't mean to be provocative, but I do think of you as a troll because I see that you are at the center of a lot of dramas that drives views to your channel that I sometimes question if you do believe that. Or for example, when you respond to my video.
Okay, Ethan's being fair. I mean, the way he talks, he's mature and he can throw in the jokes inappropriate. And yeah, Ethan makes me laugh too, sometimes. Because, he's just out there. Just like compared to other he's the funniest podcast host out there, I would say. Joe Rogan would be the least funniest, in my opinion. Just that guy never makes me laugh.
I don't necessarily believe that you're as angry as or upset as you.
One, I even did a really angry response, like a really nasty response.
Okay. This girl obviously went on the show. She knows what she's doing. The way she's dressed, the way she's responding to the questions, and all of that. This is nothing surprising for me, but for most people it would be. Like, why would they have her on this show? Why does she say these things? There's a reason for all this. It boils down to money and business. Okay, she knows that when she does this show, if she dresses like that, she says these things, she's gonna get a lot of attention back to her on her, and that attention will convert into money. Okay, more subscribers, more people will check out her channel or social media and all that. Okay, so this is not surprising, having flamboyant guests, crazy guests on a show like H3, and that's what I like. I mean, all other podcasts, they really play it safe, really boring, and just not really out there compared to H3. I would say the H3 podcast would be the best example of a podcast these days for me to emulate versus like Joe Rogan. Yeah. Don't really like Joe Rogan. Other podcasts out there, not a lot that stand out in my mind. Anyways, moving on. I just wanted to bring up this video here. Completely different topic. This video is wow, it's got more than 500,000 views now. I saw this video because I watched the South China Morning Post YouTube channel just to see what's going on in China, get my daily update, and this video really struck a chord with me. Okay, so this is at a ticket counter, and this Chinese woman cut in line, which is so typical for Chinese people, mainland Chinese people. And he scolds her, and he's caught on tape scolding her, which is brilliant. That's what I like to see. Servicemen just, not taking crap from customers like her. She is being totally disrespectful. If you've never lined up with mainland Chinese people before, you won't understand this scenario or what I'm talking about. Do it, okay? Get on a flight, go to an airport, wherever tourist destination you end up, you will find mainland Chinese tourists. And when you line up with them, they always do this to you. They cut in line, they bump you from behind. They act like you're not even there in lineup. You don't even exist. And this has happened to me so many times. And I mean, like most of Asia, they don't understand this concept of personal space that we have. You're like, you should keep a certain distance away from me, especially when we're lining up, because it's, you're getting into my space. It raises alarm bells. It's fight mode. You're entering fight mode. And yeah, part of traveling these days that I really hate is just dealing with mainland Chinese tourists, especially when I'm lining up or when I'm near them like this. Like, I remember, I'll give you some quick stories. I was at an airport waiting for my luggage to arrive at the carousel, and this Chinese guy old Chinese tourist guy beside me started hawking spit from his throat. Like, just kept doing that noise so loud that the whole airport could hear him. And he just spat on the floor, the airport floor. Holy shit. So rude. And then when I line up at the ticket counter at the airport, there's Chinese tourists, they're hitting me from behind with their luggage. Like they're physically hitting me with their luggages in my back. And I have to turn around and look at them, and they don't even respond or apologize. And so I have to turn to my side, where I'm lining up, my eyes are looking at them and the counter like this. So if they do bump into me, they bump into my shoulder, or I catch them doing it. And I give them a just fucking beatdown of just saying, fuck off, right? And then there are cases like this where Chinese tourists, they'll just cut the entire line like this.
要10点13就是1等座2等座没有，你不排队我告诉你已经很不错了啊！别跟我说了行不行？我耽误这么多人呢。有座吗？要点脸啊！就不要自尊点啊！不要脸咋的？那我就没招了，那真没办法了，那真没办法。
Good. So he refused to serve her. That's a powerful lesson right there for anyone who's working in service, who's afraid to piss off the customer, just disrupt the harmony of the group. Bullshit. You gotta lay down you gotta put your foot down. Like this guy. I commend this guy. This guy, obviously a lot of people agree. He put his foot down and he said what he needed to be said. You don't cut in line, and if you do cut in line, you shouldn't be serving them. You know, in Thailand, I saw so much bullshit at the airport. You know, like Chinese people cutting in line and all that. And I asked the ticket people, the service people in Thailand, I said, how do you deal with this on a daily basis? You know, this stress. And they just shrug their shoulders and they say, that's just the way they are. But I can tell that they're hurting inside. You know, they're just so bothered by this behavior. But they're just too afraid, or they think it's rude to put your foot down and say something to them about this. But it needs to be said. It needs to be done. I mean, we're approaching a universal standard where everybody's traveling and we're all becoming more globalized and all that. So if you want to maintain a standard, that standard means no cutting in line, no rude behavior like this. And people are wondering, like, why is there a social credit score in China? I think the social credit score is a good idea in China because it can stop people like these idiots from ever flying again. You ever think about that? Keep them where they are. If they don't behave, if they act rude towards others, then they don't deserve to fly or travel around the world. It's easy as that. Like, what's the alternative? Put them in jail? No. So I would say a social credit score is good for mainland Chinese people like these idiots here, as an example. All right. So this is a good video to look back on. Moving on. Mr. Robot. This is my favorite TV show now. And if you don't know what Mr. Robot is, I would say it's like Fight Club with computers. Okay? If you like the movie Fight Club, you will like Mr. Robot. I think, like, in my mind, Fight Club is a continuation. Mr. Robot is a continuation of Fight Club to present day. If the story continued to present day, computers and hacking would be necessary in order to get towards the goals of Project Mayhem or Fight Club in general. In my mind, if they wanted to reach that next level, erase the debt to zero involves technology, not just blowing up stuff. So when I saw this show the first time, I didn't know what it was. Like, I just discovered it by accident. Actually, there's a little bit of American Psycho, a little bit of David Fincher's Seven. There's a little bit of David Fincher's Social Network in this show. There's a lot of inspirations, I would say, but the main one would be Fight Club, and I'm just gonna play this clip.
What is it about society that disappoints you so much?
Oh, I don't know. Is it that we collectively thought Steve Jobs was a great man, even when we knew he made billions off the backs of children?
True! So true! All of you Steve Jobs fanboys, this is what's behind that face of yours, that face of his. He has a self-narration throughout the show, so he talks just like the main protagonist in Fight Club. Like, that jury is this like mind awake, body asleep, mind awake, body asleep. Like that droning narrative. Like, is this really happening? Is this what I really said? So if you're a guy and you like Fight Club, you will love Mr. Robot. And it's sad that it's ending. This is the last season, so there's about 6 episodes left. I saw the 4th episode a few days ago. It wasn't my favorite, to be honest. It was very slow. And, yeah. But when the technology part, kicks in, the action kicks in, the thrilling part kicks in, it's a fun show to watch. It's very smart, I would say. So, yeah. Mr. Robot. I love that show. And moving on. Oh, God. Star Wars. Gonna talk about Star Wars here. The Rise of Skywalker. Final trailer.
It's an instinct. A feeling. The Force brought us together. We're not alone. Good people will fight if we lead them.
People keep telling me they know me. No one does.
I hate this. Fucking hate this. Let me give you some fun facts. I saw The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi in the movie theater. Force Awakens was... I left like saying, oh, what the hell? And then Last Jedi was so disappointing. I wanted my money back because it was such a fucking stab to the gut what they did to that movie and the characters and the storyline. Oh, it's so disrespectful, And the thing about this final episode, this movie here, is it's going to be bad. We all know it. If you look up any video on YouTube or online or any forum, they're all saying the same thing. It's really bad. The leaks, you can find them online. I know what's going to happen in this movie, and it's not good. And here's the thing. Here's the problem with this movie. I don't like the new generation. I don't like this girl. I don't like Finn. I don't like Poe. The only thing that I do like a little bit is Kylo Ren. That's the only interesting character. This girl, this Mary Sue character, everybody talks about her. She's being all powerful. She has no weaknesses. She has no arc. She has no flaw. Nothing really makes me want to root or fight for, cheer for this girl compared to the previous protagonist, which was Luke Skywalker. That guy, he went through a lot of shit. I mean, compared to this girl, who can do everything except close her mouth. I call her Daisy Teethley because she can't close her mouth. She's constantly doing this. Every scene she's in, she can't close her mouth. She has to she's got like flashing her gums to the camera all the time. Why can't the cameraman say, or the director say, okay, Daisy, in this scene, we need you to close your mouth, put your lips together like this. She can't do it. She can't. And it's so annoying. And there's just so much more I want to say.
But I do.
The problem with this guy, he started off so strong in the first movie, Force Awakens. He was so cool when he stopped at that laser blast. But throughout the rest of the movie and now, up to now, he just sucks. He can't beat that girl. Imagine you were in a boxing ring. A guy versus a girl boxing, and the guy loses every time. What does that say about the guy? This guy's a pussy. He's been training his entire life, and this other girl, she's been training for like a few weeks, and she beat him. So what a... He was cool the first few minutes of Force Awakens, but then after, I just lost all respect for him. His sword is cool, but fuck. No.
Long have I waited.
And now they throw in this. Emperor Palpatine's back. I want to ask you, who are you looking forward to seeing on the screen the most in this movie? Is it Rey? Is it Poe? Is it Finn? Or is it Emperor Palpatine? Everybody says the same thing. It's Emperor Palpatine. They're all looking forward to Emperor Palpatine. Second most is Hayden Christensen, reviving his role as Anakin Skywalker. But we don't know if he's going to be in this movie. Nobody knows.
And now you're coming together. Is your undoing.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir. At my friends.
At my friends. The thing about C-3PO is, I watched Empire Strikes Back again a few nights ago, just to erase my mind, take my mind off of this garbage here. And when I realized, I saw Empire like so many years ago when I was a kid, but now I watch it now as an adult. I realized this guy was so fucking discriminated by everybody in Empire. Like Han Solo, Princess Leia, Chewbacca, they all just really hated 3PO. You can see how they treated him in that movie. Go back and watch it. And if he's referring to the old generation or the new generation, they did not treat him with any respect. They all talk down to him. They don't treat him as an equal. You can see it in the body language, the passive aggressiveness. 3PO is just, he's there to help, but nobody listens to him and nobody wants him to say anything to them. Does that make sense? So what's the point of his character throughout this whole series? If he's trying to offer guidance, information, but nobody wants it, what's his purpose? Why don't they just replace him with like a tablet or a smartphone instead, like a computer that doesn't talk like him? Right? I'm sure they can have a device like that in this world. So I don't understand. I mean, R2-D2, he's got a purpose. He's there to unlock doors and, I don't know, solve tech stuff, right? But C-3PO, his job was to interpret or just give information, guidance, but nobody listens to. And Chewie didn't do anything. Without Han, Chewie is useless. Rey is the only one that understands Chewie. So if we have this back and forth dialogue with Chewie and her, it's gonna be lame.
Confronting fear. It's the destiny of a Jedi. Your destiny.
Okay, so the only thing I like about this trailer is the music. Like they went for the pop feeling, as you can tell. John Williams made the score. And it sounds great. That's the only thing I can say that's great about this trailer. But everything else sucks. Will I see this movie? Maybe. Because if there's nothing else playing in the theaters, then I'll probably watch this one. But yeah, when I saw The Force Awakens, when I saw Last Jedi in Thailand, the theater was empty. And that was like the opening weekend. So that tells you a lot about how Asians or East Asians perceive Star Wars. It's like they didn't grow up with this shit. They're not really fanboys. They don't really care. It's just like, okay, here's another Western movie for us to keep us busy off of our smartphones for an hour or two. That's how they perceive it. So yeah, I just see a lot on the horses on the ship. Oh, great idea. Bringing horses onto a ship. Just like this guy. Ray. This guy keeps chase. There is no love interest in this movie. That's the problem. Empire, there was Han and Leia. But in this movie, it's like Finn likes Rey, but Rey likes Kylo. Kylo doesn't love anybody. And Rose likes Finn. Do you see the love triangle? It just goes like this. Nobody likes each other mutually. Like Han and Leia did in the first. That's the problem. It's not fun. They're all frenzies, you know? You need that at least one love interest in this movie to make it interesting and make the drama just so much more effective. You know, like just imagine like if Han didn't love Leia, Leia didn't love Han, and then Han was sent into carbonite, it wouldn't be as effective if they were just friends. You know? Think about that. So there's so many problems with this movie. I can see it already. Will it be successful? Who knows? But I can tell you for sure that the hardcore Star Wars fans are going to be so disappointed with this movie, and they're probably going to have an online petition to redo or reshoot the series. So there you go. Anyways, moving on. This is a fun video that got 20 million views. I know a lot about the producer here and the setup for this video. So it's about as you can see, a Korean kid meeting an American kid for the first time.
What's your name? Carson? What is your name? It's Hyunho-shin. Hyunho-shin? Okay. How are you? Good. Huh?
He asked how old are you, but she thought he said how are you. She said good. You know what, this is so funny because for me, I lived in Korea as a foreigner for so many years, and this is a very typical conversation for any age when a foreigner meets a Korean person on the street or in a meeting or the first time. This is what it's like. This is what it's really like. That's why it's so funny.
How old are you? He's 10. 10, I'm 8. You're younger.
So, Koreans, they always ask you, what's your name? How old are you? Where are you from? Those are the top three questions that they will ask every foreigner. And when you're a foreigner living in Korea, you get asked these three questions so many times. It feels like you're being treated like a machine. There's no originality. There's no creativity when it comes to introducing each other in Koreans. And they have to ask you the age question because they need to know how to address you you. Because if you're older, then they have to speak in a more polite language. If you're younger, they can talk down to you. Or if you're around the same age, then you kind of like have like a neutral like way of speaking to each other in terms of speaking in Korean. But when you speak English, none of these laws or rules apply. So what I say to every foreigner that goes to Korea, right? And they ask me, Justin, should I learn Korean or should I speak Korean fluently? The answer is never speak Korean, because once you speak Korean, it's like putting yourself in a box or a cage. Okay? You're limiting yourself when you speak Korean. Whether you are a beginner speaker or a fluent speaker, you're just setting yourself up for failure because you're playing by their rules. And once you play by their rules, yeah, you don't have any leverage. When you speak English, they have to play by your rules. And when it comes to English, yeah, there's so much freedom involved. You know, for example, in English, we don't ask each other how old are you in the second question, do we? No, we're asking more like just observations, or oh, how's the weather, or oh, that's interesting, I don't know, pair of jeans you have on, or something like that, right? It's a lot more creative compared to Koreans introducing each other. So this is kind of fun.
Do you know how many years you stayed in Korea?
That's just way over his head. Too hard. He doesn't understand.
How long have you been in Korea?
No, he doesn't understand. See, questions like this, even if you ask it to someone who speaks a little bit English, it just goes beyond their head. 'Cause they've never been asked questions like this in English. It's more, they try to translate Korean questions into English, like how old are you? Where are you from? What's your job? You know, like that. What's your hobby? So the questions that this girl is asking is very, very smart and very not normal. That's why he doesn't understand.
I'm not speaking English.
I'm not speaking English. You will not. I am not surprised. You will hear that so many times when you speak to Koreans. I am not speaking English, no matter what age. They always say that. And the funny thing is, a lot of them can speak English. Like for example, they can really listen to English very well, and their grammar is on point because they've been drilled more grammar than speaking or listening, in terms of English. But when it comes to speaking, yeah, they always try to give themselves a handicap. Like they can do it, but they're just too lazy. So they always say, "I'm not speaking English very well." But if you get that person drunk, if you get to know that person a little bit more in a few hours, they'll start talking. They're just shy, and they don't want to lose face, as they say, or be embarrassed by like speaking or making mistakes, which is so dumb. Because if you're learning a language, you have to make lots of mistakes. You have to fall, and you have to just get up and brush yourself off and just keep going. That's the whole point of having a conversation. You're never gonna have a perfect conversation.
So you don't understand, okay. 한국말 할 줄 알아? I don't really understand.
They always ask that. 한국말 알아? Do you speak Korean? Of course not. But they always ask you that. That's their last resort. When Koreans too scared or shy to speak English, they always ask that. That's the last resort. And then usually if the person says no, they try to make excuses to bail, like run away, bye, or they just run, because they just don't want to. They don't want to put in the effort. They're just too lazy, And you can't blame them. I mean, it's not very often that they run into a foreigner in Korea. I would say like 1 out of 50 people will be a foreigner that speaks English or no Korean, or even higher. I would bet. Okay, so can't blame them. that's just the way it is. And this video is so funny because I've had so many interactions where it ended up like this. It's just like a routine, like a script. So, and then they ended up by just listening to music.
Just now.
Tied with a ribbon. Some people won't sail the sea because they're safer on land.
Yep, they like music. Good for them. So this is a really cute video, very popular video. But what intrigues me more is the man behind the video. This guy's name is Solfa. And I really like this guy. He's got a YouTube channel, as you can see, it's called Solfa. I've been following him since the beginning, when he first started. And his concepts are so unique, in my opinion. Like, he's the one that came, like, if you know a channel called Jubilee, it's very popular, right? And they took a lot of the ideas of Solfa and they made it their version, an English version. So, yeah, this guy, I don't know, he wants to be a producer and he wants to get off YouTube eventually and get into more mainstream production, which is good. Power to him. But, his ideas, are so unique. I just love watching. And this is one example. This is this video here. This Koreans try to shotgun a beer. So funny.
맥주캔 원샷 해본 적 있어요?
원샷이요? 원샷은 안 해봤어요.
아니요? 아니 없을걸요? 없었던 것 같아요. 아니 한 번에 먹은 적은 없고요. 빠르게 먹기 해본 적 있어요.
Yeah, so in Korea, this is true. A lot of Koreans don't know how to shotgun a beer because it's unheard. They focus mainly on soju. If you don't know what that is, like drinking vodka shots, right? That's their main choice of alcohol when it comes to a group gathering, right? Social gathering. So shotgunning a beer, it's more of like an American pastime. And it's obvious that the solfa guy, he went and studied abroad. And then he came up with this idea to introduce it to Koreans back in Seoul. So.
샷건이라고 맥주 샷건하는 거.
이게 이렇게 막 터뜨리는 거 아닌가? 샷건? 총?
응. 뚫고 입에다 대. 돌려. 그다음 딱.
여기에 이렇게 나오고 있는데 그걸 따요?
여기다 뚜껑을 팍 따면 돼.
나 무서워.
이렇게까지 먹어야 돼요?
근데 이거 좀 더럽잖아. 아니 그게 아니라 세균이 묻어있잖아. 닦아서 해요? 안 해도 돼요? 깨끗해요?
나 지금이야.
깜짝이야.
엄마! 딴다. 입을 대세요. 할게요. 아니.
잠깐만. 어떡해 이거? 엄마 이거 마셔요? 이건가? 어떡해 미안해요. 진짜 못 해먹겠네. 못해 치워 이거. 나로. 와 이거를 왜 하는 거지? 야!
This girl is so funny. Yeah. Anyways, so as you can see, it's a one shot, right? It's a shotgun. Koreans, they can do this, right? If you give them the right format and give them a glass of beer, they can do a one shot beer with a glass. Just one-shotting with a can. They've never thought of that concept before, so that's why it's so confusing for them. I get it. It's so funny. But yeah, Koreans, they love to drink. They drink a lot. And yeah, if you really want to make Korean friends, if you really want to blend in with Korean society, you have to drink, no matter what. That's the best way to make friends, build connections in Korea, is drinking. That's how I learned Korean, to be honest. I didn't go to Korean classes. Korean classes are so dry and boring. You don't need to learn all that grammar and textbook stuff that they give you. It's more about just remembering words and having conversations, getting drunk and having fun, just dealing with a lot of just miscommunication, body language. You can just tell a lot. You can read a lot about a person non-verbally. It's just the vibes. And between that, there's a lot of alcohol involved. And that's the best way, in my opinion, to make friends in Korea. So do it. Get drunk with some Koreans and you'll never know what will happen. Okay? You might have as much fun as like this, as you can see. So yeah, check out this guy Solfa, his channel. He's a brilliant guy, in my opinion. I'll probably meet him soon if I go to Korea. But anyways, that's all the time we have for today in this podcast. So thank you for listening and hope you enjoyed episode 1. Leave your comments, questions, or feedback down below. And yeah, until next time, stay tuned for more of these videos. And I will see you. Signing off. My name's Justin. Bye-bye.